This week has been very interesting with political news and escalation. I think the most popular phrase on everyone's lips is civil war. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Actually, let's take a step back. Step back a few weeks and talk about something completely different. We're heading in a wildly different direction, but don't worry, we'll get there. Last week, California removed citizenship requirements for government jobs. I have no idea if they are purposefully trying to ruin the country or if they are just trying to destroy themselves. But what this means is that any person who walks across the border can immediately apply for asylum and get free medical treatment, shelter, food, and now they can apply for a job working for the local government. Eric Swalwell is going to be furious. Foreign spies used to go through the lengthy process of seducing a congressman and doing unspeakable things to get access to our government. He may never find an attractive date again. Now, spies can just walk right in and apply for a job. If they are minority enough, it's almost guaranteed. So this obviously breaks all kinds of laws and just plain common sense. But California only follows the federal laws that they want to. There's a federal law to protect the border, but they told the federal government to F right off. And they have multiple sanctuary cities. Same goes with marijuana laws. That's a federal crime, but they don't care. And you can get weed just about anywhere in California. They stopped prosecuting that crime right about the time Kamala left office. And there's a lot of other examples of California not following federal laws, but you get the point. So let's play this out. A non-citizen can get a job, a government job at that. This may be hard to believe, but non-citizens don't pay income tax. They do pay sales tax every time they make a purchase, so it's not like they're not contributing anything. But they definitely take more than they give. So every illegal immigrant hurts the country just a little bit, but it's starting to add up. So because they don't pay income tax, they get to keep all of their income. However, U.S. citizens do have income tax. Some states have federal and state income tax, but not for illegals. So they get all the benefits and they don't have any of the penalties or risk. Now, this is just game theory, and this is only a theoretical discussion. So under no circumstances should anyone take this as advice or any type of call to action. This is all just a thought experiment, similar to the Federalist Papers or something. But my point is, what's the benefit of keeping U.S. citizenship if you have the same opportunities and basic rights, but you don't have to be involved with the financial stuff? This is a question that many people will be asking sooner or later. Now, back to the current day and the recent advances in tearing this country apart. The raid on Trump's house is nothing new. It's just another step towards the goal. Now, depending on which news source you're watching, Trump is either a criminal mastermind who breaks 20 laws every day and is colluding with our enemies for the worst possible reasons, and he should be investigated, found guilty, and given the kind of punishment that is certainly a final solution. However, if you check out another news source, it will state that this is a witch hunt and he's guilty of nothing, and under his presidency we had the strongest economy, we were well respected by other global leaders, his humanitarian efforts brought unprecedented peace treaties in the Middle East, and we were finally energy self-sufficient. But in reality, none of that even matters. He was impeached twice, but they couldn't make it stick because no actual crime was committed, or at least able to be proved. Also, just about every media company has been searching for dirt on Trump for 6 never-ending years. Yet, no blackmail. No proof of crimes have been unearthed. I mean, sure, they made some stuff up like the Russia dossier, the quid pro quo, stuff like that. And once again, none of this matters. There's a group of people. Some call it the deep state, others call it shadow government. Let's just say it's government employees that never get elected but have jobs in D.C. for decades. Who cares? This also doesn't matter. But it is starting to appear that they are putting a plan into motion that will disqualify Trump from running again in 2024. It might work, might not. But right now, his fundraising is topping the charts and breaking records. This might be the first presidential nominee to earn $1 billion. It's getting out of hand. So in any case, look around. People, they can't even have a simple discussion anymore. It's all politics. Families are broken apart, friendships have been destroyed, and even dating sites allow you to screen people based on political beliefs. We have a long way to go to try and bring this country back together. But it seems like everyone is doubling down. You ever heard that phrase, divide and conquer? Well, feminists hate men. College students hate boomers. Democrats hate Republicans. Google hates unapproved opinions. But everyone hates vegans. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. There's still room for a little humor. I'm just trying to lighten the mood. But I'm not sure who is dividing. But it certainly is working. So who gets to conquer? Well, probably China, to be honest. They have all the tech and production. Plus, they have about 500% of our population. But let's bring this all the way back to those migrants coming over the border. By the thousands. Some estimates say it's up to 150,000 every month. Could be more, could be less. We'll never know, because they sneak across the border. Our border is so open, we can't count the number of invaders, the same way we can't count the amount of fentanyl or heroin. Here's where this gets a little funny, at least for me. Have you ever heard the term Schadenfreude? It's a great German word that means malicious enjoyment derived from observing someone else's misfortune. These migrants, when they arrive, they are claiming persecution from their governments, and they're seeking asylum, a safe place to live. However, they are often carrying their country's flag proudly. Hardly the act of people fleeing for their life. The overwhelming number of these people are economic migrants seeking a better life. It's not their fault. They were lied to. They are spreading flyers in their countries telling people to come to USA for jobs and prosperity. Could be coyotes, could be our own government. Doesn't matter. They're coming. So here's where the Schadenfreude comes in. These migrants have lost just about everything that they own. They left their houses, friends, family. The entire amount of their possessions can be carried in a backpack. It's actually very similar to when this country was founded. Millions of people arrived penniless, and they had to make their own fortune. The symmetry is outstanding that the beginning of USA is almost a mirror image of the end. So these migrants have nothing, and they are depending on charity for everything. Food, housing, even the most basic primal necessities just to live. And they're doing this at the worst time because this country is losing the ability to provide services for them. Believe it or not, they will be the hardest hit during the next crisis. They have no safety net. They have no community because Homeland Security has spread them into the wind by placing a few here and a few more over there. They will be the least likely to step forward and ask for help when things get rough. They will have a higher rate of food insecurity. Politically correct words. They will starve to death or freeze to death. They will also have the highest likelihood of crime to survive. Don't put it past them. Some of them are very good people, but they are capable of breaking laws. That's the very first thing they did when arriving across the border. This is the most unkind thing our government has done to these people. They will die alone in a foreign country, cold and hungry. It's cruel how they've been lied to and how they will end up. They should have stayed home, but risking it all for free stuff when they could have stayed home is greedy. Deep down, everyone knows that taking stuff from people for free is wrong. And there's some type of karma punishment for doing what you know is wrong. And that's why the Schadenfreude is how this will end. They tried to take our stuff and suffered the ultimate punishment. So this country is heading towards the end. I mean, it happened to the Soviet Union, which was also a global superpower at one point. The British Empire also ceased to be an empire. What about the Roman Empire? And Genghis Khan is no longer in control, in case you weren't paying attention. So if you think this can't happen to us, but it's different this time, you are no history scholar. The only question left is, how much longer will it take?